If you're struggling with money after your spiritual awakening, there are two ways to solve this. One is by learning how to make money. The second is by changing your vibration around money. One way is a 3D physical approach, and the other is a 5D spiritual approach. Both can work, but today I'm going to show you the spiritual way, how to raise your vibration to attract more money into your life. That's because after a spiritual awakening, your vibration is more important than anything else. And today I'm going to give you 5 simple steps to shift your vibration. Okay, step number 1 is when drowning, stand up. I learned this lesson when I was learning to swim. I was struggling and panicking in the pool until my friend simply said, stand up. I did, and I realized the water was only chest deep. My fear was real, but my situation was actually pretty safe. I had the same exact feeling when I was down to my last 2 or 3 months of savings. During my first spiritual awakening, I felt like I was drowning because I didn't have a job. But in reality, I wasn't homeless yet. I wasn't starving yet. I was just standing in a shallow pool, but my mind was imagining a terrifying ocean. That projection into the future is the main fear that we have about money. We are all taught to believe we need money to survive. After a spiritual awakening, even though we see past the surface meaning of money, deep down, the fear is still there, waiting for us to deal with it. And when we feel like we don't have enough money, we'll start to panic. So what does this mean for you? It means that when you're struggling with money, ground yourself in this very moment. Ask yourself, am I actually drowning right now? Or am I just afraid of a future that hasn't happened yet? Also, be kind to yourself. Know that as a human, you have basic needs, and it's natural to have survival fear. Don't judge yourself for feeling this way. And try to soothe yourself. But at the same time, know that this fear is just an exaggerated version of a future that may or may not come true. Separating your present reality from your fear of the future is the first crucial step to changing your vibration. This kind of perspective shift is exactly what we explore here on this channel. By the way, I'm Yong Kang. Welcome. I make this channel to help people navigate their spiritual journey. Alright, so step number 2 is to find things to love and appreciate right now. After you stop the panic, your next step is to actively change your focus from what you're lacking to what you already have. This is the easiest and faster way to change your vibration. It's the faster way to shift your frequency from 3D to 5D. Let me explain why this works so well. Your mind is used to spotting what's missing. It might think, I don't have enough money, I can't pay the bills, I'm going to get kicked out of my house soon because I can't pay the rent. But when you think this way, you are seeing the problem, not the solution. It makes your situation seems worse and causes you more panic. So you must teach your mind to see what's already here. When I had no money during my spiritual awakening, I remember that many of the best things in my life are free. The air I breathe, the sun on my skin, the love of my family. If I need water, there's often a water cooler somewhere. If I need to learn something new, there's the library. And if I need to have fun, I can just go for a walk in the nature. You actually don't need a lot of money to survive or even to do well. You can thrive simply by recognizing the abundance you already have. Gratitude recalibrates your entire being to the feeling of enoughness, which is the true basis of all wealth. And your spirit naturally looks at what's available, not what's missing. By tuning into your spirit and the feeling of gratitude, you will train yourself to look for opportunities, not problems. Okay, step number 3 might sound really counterintuitive, but it's actually very powerful. It can change your vibration right away. It is to activate abundance through giving. So what does that mean? When I had no money during my spiritual awakening and didn't have a full-time job, I thought, what can I give? I started volunteering at my friend's company doing some accounting work. That lifted me out of depression because even though I wasn't paid anything, I felt valuable. I was able to offer my help to others and give. I felt abundant, I felt expansive, like I have something to offer. And I was teaching the intern at that time and sharing my knowledge with him. It reminded me how good teaching and helping others felt. So later I became a tutor and started teaching student maths and accounting, and I received money for my services. So why does this work so well? That's because the ego is constantly in a state of lack and it wants to hold on to things and take from others. But the soul, on the other hand, is always in a state of abundance and want to share and give. To instantly change your vibration, figure out what you can give. This doesn't mean that you have to give money. It could be your time, your wisdom, a compliment, or a helping hand. You can even trade things you don't need anymore with people who want them, and that might even help you get some food or shelter to get you through difficult times. Even when you pay bills or taxes, instead of seeing others as taking from you, see it as a sign that you have something to give, you have the money to pay. When you act like you're a source of generosity, you're telling the universe, I have more than enough. And when you are in that vibration of abundance, it will help you see opportunities you didn't even know existed. Okay, step number 4 is the crucial other half to giving. It's about learning to ask and receive help. Let me explain why this is so important. When I had no money during my spiritual awakening, my brother reminded me that I could ask my parents for help. But I felt a sense of shame about that. I was supposed to be a working adult supporting my parents, but now I had to ask them to support me. I was the one who decided to change career and ended up jobless and neglected my finances. How could I ask my parents to take responsibility for my mistake? Many spiritual people are blocked from receiving abundance because of pride, shame, and unworthiness, and you must clear this block. Receiving can actually be harder than giving. It takes humility, but that's exactly where it can help you to transcend the ego. Since young, we develop blocks and beliefs around money. Maybe we feel unworthy and unlovable, which makes it hard for us to receive. Maybe we are scolded by our parents for asking what we want. Understanding your relationship with money and the story you tell yourself will help you peel off the layers of your ego. So don't be afraid to ask your friends and family for help. For example, if you need a place to stay and your parents have an empty room, you can ask whether you can stay with them. This can keep your expenses low for a while. Of course, not everyone will help you, but I just want to clarify here, this is not begging, this is simply asking. They are of two different vibrations. If someone doesn't respond, just move on to the next person. Don't let your shame or fear of rejection stop you from asking and receiving help. Because giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. When you give, someone else receives. When someone gives, you receive. There's always someone giving and someone receiving. It's a flow of energy. When someone gives and you receive, you allow the other person to help you, which is in a way a form of giving. You're giving them the opportunity to help you. When we are unable to accept their giving, we block the flow of energy. But there's an even more important reason for learning to ask and receive help. The universe is constantly trying to support you, but if you don't learn to accept help, you're not being open to your spirit guides either. Even if the universe wants to guide and help you, it can't, because you're closed off to receiving and you're blocking the flow of abundance in your life. So ask for help, ask your guide for gifts frequently, and be open to receiving support from the universe. Alright, so step number 5 is to trust the unseen plan. So what does this mean? It means to trust and believe your life will be taken care of. When I wrote my books, it was because of the inspiration I received. I didn't write books because I think I needed to sell a certain number of copies each day to make a living. I wrote because I felt inspired. When I was at my neighborhood park and I had a spiritual awakening, I felt inspired to write about my dark night of the soul experience. And one book after another, I wrote 7 books. But I never thought one day my books will be picked up by the foreign publisher and printed in other languages. I just trusted my intuition and took inspired action. After you've done the inner work, you must let go of trying to control the outcome. You must trust that the higher intelligence is at work. Know that the universe supports you in ways you cannot even imagine. Let go of the need to control how or when the support will arrive. Your only job is to keep your vibration in a state of trust and abundance. The universe will handle the details for you. This isn't being passive, it's an active state of trust. When you trust, you take action on your inspiration. But when you doubt yourself, even if you have a great idea that makes you feel excited, you won't do it. You'll second guess, will this really work? And you'll procrastinate, and then you'll miss the opportunity. When we start over, we might think that it will take a long time to get back to where we were, but that's not true, because it really depends on your vibration. Rich people always know how to become wealthy again, even if they were bankrupt. This isn't just because of their financial skill, it's also because they believe they can. They have done it several times, so even if they lost all their money, they know they can do it again. The vibration of trust is very powerful. Even if I have no money today, I wouldn't panic. I will first check if I'm truly drowning, or is it just my ego imagining a scary future. I'll be grateful for the things I do have and all the free things around me that doesn't cost any money. I will offer something of value in exchange for some money, food, or shelter. I will ask for help. And finally, I will trust the universe, that higher intelligence, to know exactly the next path I needed to take and simply follow the inspiration. Doing all of this will help me raise my vibration and position myself to receive the abundance that is always there for me. If you have been listening to these steps and wondering why all your past effort to manifest wealth haven't worked, I want you to know that you're not alone. You are likely being caught in an ego trap. I have made a video that breaks this down completely. You can click here to find out more.